Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen, the program that 5 days a week on Facebook we present for you what we hope is, Pete and I, a really interesting cross-section of stuff. You can watch it on Facebook, obviously, as many of you are now, or as a podcast, wherever you get your favourite podcast from, whatever platform you choose. I hope will become one of your favourite podcasts. We talk about the stuff that nobody else in the media is talking about, or feels that he or she can't talk about, but nevertheless should be talking about. But hopefully along the way, maybe we can embarrass them into doing something like that. Freedom of speech is very important. Looking after our furry friends is important too. Now, Pete, fill us in on Harriet the koala.
Yes, she's home, safe and well. We released her yesterday.
Well, I know because I went up there with you, but you went up again today.
Oh yes,
to check on her.
And she's fine. She looked up and gave me a smile almost, and then went to sleep.
Well, she came out of the those koala rescue people. Laura was just a wonderful human being. No wonder they wrote that song called "Tell Laura I Love Her." You should sing it to her.
I might do that.
You should. What a lovely young lady. Anyway, she roams around the countryside rescuing koalas and taking them back and patching them up and giving them a new lease on life and a whole new life, let's hope. Anyway, Harriet has a baby. What do they call a young...
A Joey.
A Joey. Okay, well, she's got a little baby in her pouch. And she's up at the back of this house, up near the mines, the gold mines that were around in the 1840s, around about that time. Beautiful gum trees. I suppose that's why she ended up there. But last night, I got up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and it was so cold. And I thought about Harriet, Pete.
Yeah.
I thought, how this poor little thing up the tree with the wind blowing and the...
But she does have a fur coat.
She does have a fur coat. And plenty to eat.
Yes.
Anyway, what are you going to do? You've got some pictures. Can you put them into the show?
Yes, I'll put them in here, yes.
All right. No, that would be great. I look forward to seeing that. Harriet. Who named her Harriet, by the way? Laura. Nice name, Harriet. Harriet. They don't move too much from home. They're pretty territorial. Let's hope she'll stay there and be happy. June the 29th, 1940, before we get into the business of the day and the stuff we like to stir, shake the tree, rattle the cage, stump the table. That's basically what a program like this is about. 1940, US passes Alien Registration Act, requiring aliens to be registered. Now, I take it that's not, that's not aliens, not those sort of aliens, I gather. Please tell me. 1940. Anyway, 2022, Earth records its shortest day ever, 1.59 milliseconds faster than the standard day. Golly, how would you measure that? 2003, Katharine Hepburn, American actress, Adam's rib on Golden Pond, dies of natural causes at the age of 96. Good life, well lived. Mike Willesee, born 1942, Australian television presenter, this day tonight, born Perth. He was Not sure how old he was when he died, but 2019 was when he died. I sense too young. 1962, the first Vickers British Aerospace VC-10 long-range airliner takes off on its first flight. 1962. Jane Mansfield, American actress. The Girl Can't Help It. Dies in a car crash at 34. It was 1967. Jane Mansfield, who was, I don't know what you'd say, she was part of the really glamorous Hollywood starlet brigade. The terrible thing was that, so the story goes, she was in that car crash. She died in a car crash. She was decapitated. Her daughter now appears in one of those TV cop shows. I think it's special crime fighting unit or something. I've seen her. Doesn't look anything like her mum. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London burns to the ground during a performance of Henry VIII. That was in 1613. Fred Grandy, American actor, he was in Love Boat. I remember him. He was Gopher in Love Boat. Became a politician, served in the US House of Representatives. He was a representative for Iowa. He was born in Sioux City, Iowa, on this day in 1948. Lana Turner, American pin-up model and actress. Peyton Place. The postman always rings twice. Imitation of Life. Dies of cancer at 74. Lana Turner. 1995, the year. Oh, financier Bernard Madoff, sentenced to 150 years in US maximum security prison for conducting the most massive Ponzi scheme imaginable. But you know, with a name like Madoff, he made off with the money, didn't he? Big time. What else can I tell you about the day? Elizabeth Barrett Browning, British poet, writer. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. She dies at 55 in 1861. Lil Lever, the American pop singer, The Locomotion, Keep Your Hands Off My Baby, was born in Belhaven, North Carolina. Died in 2003, but born this day in 1943. Superman, action comic number 1, 1938, auctioned at Sotheby's for $61,900. 1996, that was. American actress and sex symbol Marilyn Monroe, 30, weds for the third time, this time marrying playwright Arthur Miller. He was 40, she was 30. At White Plains Courthouse in White Plains, New York. They divorced in 61, but married in 56. What in God's name? I mean, I have just looked opposites attract, I suppose. And you can never look at people and think of them as an odd couple, but I wonder what the hell they had in common. What the hell did Marilyn Monroe talk to Arthur Miller about? I wonder. British ex-Prime Minister Sir Robert Peel, he was the one who gave the name to the Bobbies, the English police. Sir Robert Peel falls off his horse. He dies 3 days later, 1850. Yeah, I know. Pete loves to ride horses, but they ain't without their dangers. Slim Pickens. His real name is Lewis Burton Lindsay Jr., but he sailed under the name Slim Pickens quite successfully for a long time. 1919, American rodeo promoter, actor. He was in Dr. Strangelove, I remember him there. He was in Blazing Saddles. He was born in Kingsburg, California. Died in 83, born 1919. And if you remember the day at all, I hope it's been a really good one. Bob Crane. Now, there's another actor. His demise was somewhat Strange. 1978, Bob Crane, American DJ and actor, Hogan's Heroes, The Donna Reed Show, murdered in a sleazy hotel at the age of 49. I don't know why hotels and motels can be sleazy. I don't know. And the wonderful Carl Reiner, or Carl Reiner, I suppose you'd say, American comedian, actor, screenwriter. The Dick Van Dyke Show, he made a fortune out of being funny and making other people look great. The Jerk, he dies at 98, and the year was 2020. Some of the things we remember the day for. I had a little mention in my comments that I should be careful not to put the paper up near the lapel microphone. In fact, the comment was, listen, Jeremy, wear it on your lapel. Don't have it down so low it gets in the way of the paper. So you're perfectly right. Inflation figures out yesterday, and a big drop. Big drop. The CPI for the year was 6.8%. Well, that was before. That was well above, of course, the 2 to 3% target for the Reserve Bank. That's where they are paid to see to it that we are. But the May figure showed a sharp decrease to 5.6% for the year. Now, it's going the right way, there's no doubt about that. The government is about to deliver the first surplus in 15 years, thanks to the evil exports of coal and gas. And we can't dismiss iron ore as well. But hello, Blockade Australia. Did you hear that? Extinction Rebellion? Do you know about that? Do you care about that? Stop those exports, you guys, and you would send this country broke. But that's maybe exactly what you want to do. And speaking of going broke, these figures on bankruptcy are alarming. A 7-year high. A common cause seems to be late payers. God, listen, if you owe somebody some money, pay it. Don't string people out. Some of these people have been strung out for 60 and 90 days. And you know the worst payers? The worst payers of all? The government. People often confuse cash flow with profit, I know that, but for small to medium businesses, and I know what that is like, cash flow is vital for day-to-day survival. It's pretty simple. Now, if we put those CPI figures showing inflation slowing and the increasing number of bankruptcies, there's a very good case here for leaving the interest rates on hold next month. These monthly inflation figures do bounce around, there's no denying that. The quarterly figures are the best indicators of what's going on. But anyway, we'll see what the Reserve Bank comes up with next month. My bet is, I guess they will leave things on hold to just see another set of figures next month. Speaking of figures, Australians are the big losers. Big losers. Australians lose more money on gambling than anyone else in the world. I know we've got that reputation with, oh, I don't know, 2 up and 2 flies crawling up a wall and all that sort of stuff. But you don't want to have that kind of reputation. A parliamentary committee which is currently meeting, Peter Murphy, the Labor politician, is the chair of this inquiry. They came out yesterday with their report. It was called, "You Win Some, You Lose More." Ain't that the truth? There are 31 recommendations. One is that ads for online gambling should be banned. Mind you, not banned like that, not sudden death, phased out over 3 years. Online gambling is the problem, not just the ads. They should at least stop the ads on television immediately and then work on getting rid of the gambling online. The committee also wants a gambling ombudsman and a special or specific tax. They should, of course, do something about poker machines, to which most state governments are totally addicted because of the poker machine taxes. Poker machines seem to have had an absolutely protected life. And I've heard all of the arguments and nonsense when they decided to phase out tobacco advertising. They all said, you can't do that. The sporting codes will collapse. The television stations depend on the revenue as well. And of course, leading personalities, famous people, are being paid a fortune to personally endorse and use the product publicly. But we did. We got rid of tobacco advertising. The sky didn't fall in. The world didn't end. Now, gambling is a huge problem, a huge social problem. It costs the community $25 billion a year, but that doesn't take into account the pain and suffering and the people who lose their homes and their jobs and their families. How do you put a price on any of that? The government, however, makes $5.8 billion a year in taxes. Now, this inquiry is not a lot, but at least it's something. It is something. But let's see if the state and federal governments act on the recommendations. After all, they have a fair bit, I'm talking about the governments, a fair bit of skin in the game, $5.8 billion. I wonder how they're going to impartially look at the loss of that. The gambling companies are rich and powerful, and they have their lobbyists. They'll be banging on doors all over the country, calling up favours, using plenty of influence. Now, these companies have plenty of influence. I would suggest this should test the government to prioritise things a little bit better. At the moment, it's the voice, it's climate change, free childcare, low-cost housing, all of which, I guess, to some people are more important to some than others. But you would swear there was nothing else of any importance. Well, this is, fellas. They should be putting the same emphasis and energy and political capital into this much bigger and more important issue. A lot of the social problems are, of course, the symptoms. Go to the cause. Gambling is the cause of a lot of trouble and misery in the community. They will be treading on toes, but they could do a lot to fix things. Let's see if they do. We here in the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen, will be watching very carefully. Thank you very much for being with us. Pete and I will be back tomorrow. I'm Jeremy Cordo. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.